Welcome back to Tech Yes City. It's finally time to give you guys a review of this Beastily GTX 980ti, which is just insanely beastly.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Tech Yes City. This is Brian coming back to you guys today with a long-awaited review of this Inno3D 980ti. Now, I've actually never tried a card from Inno3D before, and a lot of you guys as well, when I posted a picture up on Twitter, you guys were like, yeah, I've never tried a card, so I can't wait for the review. So today I'm going to be going over what the card features, going to be running it through some benchmarks, doing some tests, and also testing out-of-the-box settings versus overclock settings, which especially is where this card shines. So anyway, let's take a look at the card. So looking at the connectivity of the card, you get one dual DVI port there, you also get 3 display ports, and you also get one HDMI 2.0 there. So you got some good connectivity there. And then you look over at the front of the card, you have this gunmetal gray black sort of matte theme going on here, even though the black bits are kind of semi-gloss. And then it has 3 custom fans here, which have Inno3D stickers on them. Also, another good thing about these fans is that they are very quiet on idle, and we'll get onto a noise test after the benchmarks and you'll be able to hear just how loud it gets. But at idle, they're very quiet, though when they speed up, man, can these things push some air. It's incredible. Like, I'm sitting a meter away from my computer and I can feel the air from these fans. So they put some really good fans on them, even though they do get a little bit noisy when you put them up to like 100%, which I've never seen a graphics card have fans that go up to 100%. Also, a nice little touch on the front of the card is the fact that they've gone with this mechanical look, and then they've further added to that by putting on some Allen key bolts here, and 8 of them in total, which in my opinion does give it this nice tough look. It's a real manly beastly beast look, and I'm kind of impressed by it. Looking over the rear of the card, you get this semi-gloss backplate which is made of metal, and honestly it does add to the feel of the card, does make it feel solid and way more rigid. Now, another good thing about it is that it does actually do or has some input on cooling, because when I felt this card during gaming, it was getting pretty hot. So I imagine if you put a fan on it, it might be able to help with cooling somewhat. Though it does have the HerculeZ Z design logo there, and it does keep things simple, which I do appreciate a simple, clean look. Looking over the back of the card there, you can see it's got 4 heat pipes there, which run through the whole card. So continuing on to the side here, you have an 8+6 pin design here, which is the standard reference design. Besides that, you've got a heatsink there covering the memory banks and the VRM, and you've got an 8-phase VRM on this card, which is also the standard reference design. And for what it's worth, on an air-cooled overclock, it does a fine job of delivering power. It also exhibits no coil whine, or this card in particular doesn't. So let's get on to the part that you've all been dying for, and that's the benchmarks. Now, I had to actually tune my CPU down because I've only got a 630 watt gold power supply. And when I had the CPU overclocked and the graphics card overclocked, I was hitting like 880 watts from the wall.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
So anyway, with that being said, I did manage to tune the CPU down a little bit, which didn't affect the benchmarks. I already confirmed it, and I managed to get the graphics card as high as it can go. So I got like an extra 200 megahertz on the core. Anyway, I'll put that information down in the description below. Let's get on with the benchmarks. So I'm just going to do a noise test for you guys, and I'm going to go through the main levels that I've noticed with this graphics card, both out of the box and overclocked. Also, I'm sitting about 70 to 80 centimeters away from the card, which is where I usually sit when I'm playing games. So it's pretty real world, I think. So anyway, the first setting is 32%. And now this will be when you're on the desktop or you're playing really easy to play games that aren't too graphically intensive. So here's what this sounds like. So you can see they're whisper quiet. You probably hear the case fans, if anything, overpowering the 3 fans. Now we'll ramp it up to about 48%, which is where I notice it goes on the out-of-the-box settings. So you may be able to hear that. I mean, I can hear it on my end. It's a little bit noisy. It's not too bad. So out-of-the-box settings, it's pretty quiet. It's pretty good. Now, if you're going to overclock this graphics card, I've noticed that it can go as high as about 80% or 78%, 79%. That's where I noticed that it leapt up to. So I'll put that on now. So as you can see, when you're overclocking the graphics card, the fans really step up and they do become noisy. So if you got headphones on, isolated headphones, it won't be a problem. Though if you are a noise freak and you do want to overclock this graphics card, then you're going to kind of be out of luck. But anyway, the cool thing I do like about this graphics card is the first thing I've seen. This is the first time I've seen it. The fans can actually go to 100%. So that's around 80%. Let's see what 100% sounds like. Yeah, that sounds like a jet. Like, it's really cool. It's the first time, and like I can literally feel the airflow coming to me from where I'm sitting down. It's crazy. So these fans can really ramp up and they do get loud. So we'll go back through it. 80%. And that's as high, 80% is about as high as it goes when you're overclocking it. And the overclocks were really impressive. But we'll go back down to 48% again. There we go. So it's pretty quiet. So out of the box is going to be pretty quiet. And then of course on your desktop it's going to be whisper quiet, both on overclocked and normal settings. So anyway, that's the noise test done. Let's move over to the next part. So in conclusion, what can I say about Inno3D's custom cooled HerculeZ X3 980ti? Well, actually a lot of good. This thing surprised me. I mean, the performance figures, right? So we'll talk about the 980ti first. For a 980ti, it's a beast card. It's absolutely huge. I mean, you guys probably saw those overclocked figures. This thing can handle 4K if you don't mind turning down a few little settings. And it will do it so well. You'll get an absolutely amazing experience. It'll do 1440p 144 Hz as well. Phenomenal card. Though let's talk about the actual card itself in terms of Inno3D's solution. And this is kind of where I'm for both. I mean, I'm really impressed that it came in at the cheapest. It was the cheapest card I could get. It was like $100 cheaper than MSI's Twin Frozer. And it was $150 cheaper than Gigabyte's G1. And it was about $80 cheaper than a reference design where I live. And this is what it's all about. It's about where you live and what you can get this graphics card for. So if you can get this card a lot cheaper than other competitors' cards, then I would definitely go for it. Though for me personally, if I had the choice, and I don't know if there's any cards, right? Before I say this, I don't even know if there's any cards that are huge, like the 780 Lightning that I had. If I had the choice to pay an extra $30 or $40 for, say, a 1.5 kilogram cooler, then I would. Because I've had the 780 Lightning in the past, even overclocked to the max, that thing was like whisper quiet and the surface temperatures were really cool. This thing, when you overclock it, it starts to get loud and the surface temperatures do start to get pretty hot. I measured about 60 degrees with my IR gun. And so it's kind of like, you know, you've got that trade-off there. It's a 1 kilogram cooler, it's just shy of 1 kilogram. And I think it's kind of not enough if you want to overclock and have low noise. Though if you're on a reference clock and you're just happy playing at reference clocks, which I don't recommend because there's a lot to be gained from overclocking, then you'll be absolutely fine with this card. It'll stay quiet pretty much all the time and it'll do a good job of cooling this graphics card and giving you a great experience. Though for me, since the overclock gains are just so big, I would want to get a bigger cooler just to keep the noise down. So anyway, That being said though, the fans are phenomenal, and it's the reason why I could overclock so high. Even though they get noisy, they push so much friggin' air. Like from where I was sitting down, I could feel the air from a meter away. These are some of the best fans I've seen in my life. They push so much air, even though they get noisy. So anyway, let's get on with the review. So in all, I'm going to be giving this thing 4.5 stars out of 5. It came in like $100 cheaper than the nearest competitor's products. And with that being said, I don't even know how the competitor's products perform. They could get noisy when overclocked as well. I haven't tried them, so I can't tell you. But for me, this thing, honestly, it hits that point. It's a beautiful 4K gaming card. Also, when I overclock it, I'm usually wearing my headphones, so it washes out the background noise anyway. And then at idle, it remains whisper quiet. So if you guys are in the market for a graphics card that is a beast, and you know its drawbacks, and that is it gets a little bit noisy when you overclock it, then I can highly recommend this card. So anyway guys, if you have any questions or comments about the Inno3D HerculeZ X3, then be sure to drop a comment in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And also, if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't, then if you haven't already subscribed to Tech Yes City, then hit the sub button. I'll be coming back to you guys with another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Wait, before I say bye, I will say that it also came with a free Firestrike license as well, which is a bonus as well, and a free mouse pad mat as well. Came with a free mouse pad mat, so don't forget that. Anyway, peace out for now. Bye.